Fit in 10. It is day 26 of the Fit in 10 challenge. And we're hammering out a date here for Costco. It looks like it's going to be a Sunday. Not this Sunday, but the next. I realize that's like the 5th weekend into the challenge. And yeah, it would be nice if we had done this a little bit earlier, I suppose, but it's never too late, right? That being said, if you don't have a Costco membership, you can still come, you can still go in, and you just can't purchase anything. But what I will do, out of the goodness of my heart, is I will put it on my bill, and you can pay me back, okay? And I won't charge you very much interest. Promise, okay? Interest rates are low. All right, let's get some questions here. Somebody had asked me about, they want to know about water loss versus muscle mass loss versus fat loss, all right? So there are often times where the machine will read you as you losing muscle mass, all right? And this can largely be due, or quite often can be due to loss of water in the muscle, and this happens via loss of glycogen from the muscle, okay? So your body can store sugar, carbohydrates essentially, in the muscle in the form of glycogen, and glycogen is basically 1 part carbohydrate, 3 parts water. So for every gram of carbohydrate, we get 3 grams of water that comes in and stores in the muscle or the liver. So when we deplete these through exercise or we lower our carbohydrates, we get less water in the muscle, and the machine can read that as a loss of muscle, which, you know, in essence it kind of is. I mean, if you threw a muscle on the table, you know, and you threw like a regular muscle and you threw a depleted muscle on the table, one's going to just look smaller, right? There's less water in it. Okay, so it's kind of the idea of just cooking meat longer and longer and longer. You lose moisture out of it, and that meat becomes less and less and less in weight. So what happens is if you've lost a ton of weight, this person in this person's case, they lost 10 pounds in 3 weeks, and they lost 5 pounds of fat, and it said they lost 5 pounds of muscle. But in reality, we don't really know what that water was. Did it come from inside the muscle or not? Unfortunately, the machine's not that sophisticated to determine that, and neither is a DEXA scan. So, you know, we just have to, keep that in mind, all right? So, you know, your carbohydrates are lower, you're exercising more, you're storing less water, all right? So it's very likely that you just lost extracellular water in your body, which is not a bad thing. That is the starting point of losing fat loss, okay? Or that's part of fat loss. Losing water is part of fat loss, okay? Not specifically it's not losing fat that you're losing, but it has to do with fat loss, all right? We have to go through some restriction in calories. When we have restriction in calories in general, we will lose water, not just carbohydrates, I should clarify, but calories in general. You'll have loss in water, okay? Doesn't mean you're losing muscle mass though, all right? So in this person's case, I would say they probably didn't really lose any muscle tissue, especially because this person I know was training regularly. They probably just lost a lot of water in the muscle. The more muscular you are, the more ability you have to fluctuate your body weight in terms of water, because you have more reserve capacity. You have more reserve capacity for carbohydrates. And in essence, you actually have a greater ability to store carbohydrates. So, this is actually one great tool to help prevent chances of developing type 2 diabetes. Okay, you have more reserve capacity for sugar. If blood sugar levels rise, you have more capacity to store those, or to store that sugar from the bloodstream, because it's got to go somewhere. It can't stay in your bloodstream, you will die. Okay, all right, that's 4 minutes. Wow. Okay, quickly, I want to talk about this. These 2 bars from Costco. Somebody was asking me about these bars. I've talked about them, well, not this challenge, but previous challenge. These are like a Quest. If you guys are familiar with Quest bars, these are Costco's version. Some people say they taste better. Just depends on what you like. They are definitely less fake tasting, I think. They're just not quite as sweet. They're still pretty good. I like this one, actually a fair amount. This one is not bad either. They are very, very similar to Costco's bars. Okay, they're just very, very high in soluble fiber, which can cause a certain level of gas in individuals, but some people not. So just fair warning. I think if you eat one bar, you'll be fine. Just don't go crazy on them. The main sort of filler in this is inulin, which is basically like a root fiber extract, like a plant root. So these are low carbohydrate. Okay, there's 20 grams of carbs in them, but it's like 18 of that is fiber. And then they're made with milk protein isolate, okay, and whey protein isolate. The only downfall with these things is there is erythritol in there, which I don't really know if that's a big deal. That's just a diabetic sweetener, basically. It's an alcohol sugar, and there's only a few grams of that in here, so it won't affect your blood sugar levels, okay? But there's inulin, there's cashews, there's water, there's unsweetened chocolate, just a little bit. There's erythritol, cocoa butter, natural flavor, sea salt, sunflower lecithin, and stevia extract. Okay, these are actually a good bar. So if you want to include these, you can, okay, for your sweet cravings. 20 grams of protein in here and about, I think a total of 2 grams of net carbs. All right, message of the day. This is my message of the day. My message of the day is nobody is too busy. Nobody is too busy. It's just a matter of priorities. You just have to prioritize. All right, and now I'm going to say this too. Sometimes we just have to be more efficient at doing things. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have all experienced, you know, where it's you just dragging your heels getting something done, where you could be much more efficient at it. Now I'm not saying that, you know, you're always going to be perfect and you can always, you know, go through things super fast, but you know, quite often we can get certain things done much quicker than we could, right? So otherwise, so you know, if you want to make something happen, anything else I want to make happen, I just made it a priority, right? So whether it's me getting up earlier to make sure that it happens, perfect example is, and I think I've already told you guys about this, is stretching. Okay, I will not stretch unless I get up early in the morning and do it. It just won't happen. So I get up earlier and I do it. So that's the way I make it happen. If I don't get up early, it won't happen. Okay, chances are it won't happen. So we just have to prioritize, make it a priority, put it in your calendar and make sure that it happens. Okay, so nobody is too busy. It's just a matter of priorities. Make whatever's important to you a priority and it will happen. Okay, well, I mean, really, if it is important to you, it is a priority, right? So, you know, the excuse that you are too busy is, I ask you, are you really too busy? Okay, or is it really a question of I don't really feel like it? Okay, because those are two different things. All right. So you're never too busy. It's just a matter of prioritizing. Okay. All right, guys. Submit, commit. I'm over 8 minutes. Jesus, I better end this video. All right. We will talk to y'all soon, and I'll see you Saturday. Well, you'll see me tomorrow, and the next day. But Saturday's our next workout. It's on.